Who I was before. Honestly, I don't have an answer to who I was before, but I can say I was wild and free. I didn't let no one stop me. I was confident and I didn't give a care in the world what others think. But then, the more I got put in the hospital, the more my life changed and the more I changed. I was on so many different medications that changed my mood and made me emotional, mad, sad, and spaced out sometimes. I would always have withdrawals from the high dose of prednisone, switching on to a little bit of a lower dosage, then getting sick again and having to go back on the high dosage once again. It's like the moment you start to see your cheekbones again, the doctor increases your prednisone dose. I would tend to shake really bad, and one day I was in class. It was my last class. I started shaking that bad, my pencil ended up flying out of my hand. So the teachers were getting nervous, even though I told them it was just my medicine and how I switched doses. They sent me to the nurse like usual because they wanted to be sure. My friend in that class had brought me down there, mainly because they didn't want me to pass out or something bad to happen. I mean, it wasn't me who was scared, which you would think I would be, but I was so used to my body doing that and malfunctioning all the time. But they wasn't used to seeing me like that, and it made them nervous. I once had an asthma attack in class, which hadn't happened since gym in the 7th grade. It frightened my teacher, and they called my mom, so I would have to go home. I couldn't walk out the door without having another episode, an attack. It also changed my appearance, which is when it really started hitting me hard. I didn't like the way I looked in certain things. I couldn't wear half of my clothes because they didn't look right on me. And that's when I didn't really like going around people. I never really was a people person, to be honest, but it got worse as my sickness got worse. I can name many things I don't like about myself, but that's not what this video is about. And I'm not going to talk bad about myself like I used to. Soon after all of the episodes scaring my teachers so badly, they thought it was best that I get homeschooling through the school. For my sake, since I wasn't able to make it, and every day with me being in the hospital, the school was so nice in making me get well cards and helping me get set up for school, but it was a big change that I had to get used to. I used to be able to do many different things, like go outside and play in the snow with my siblings, or even in the rain with my siblings, but since I have this, I obviously gotta be more cautious and think about my health, which is really hard to do because I want to have fun and I want to do things like I used to, and now that I have this, I miss out on certain things, just like how I used to cheer, which you can see in these clips. I was able to flip and do many different things, but now I can't really do that, and I can't bring myself to do that without trying to catch my breath every single flip, which sucks because it's something I was pretty good at. When I did start getting put in the hospital constantly, I had a good family who was there on my side through it all, especially my mom, who never left my side, not once. And my brothers, crazy brothers, who would always visit me and always try to joke off and make me feel better, make me laugh, and my friend who never left my side until they obviously had cautions that they had to take, and there was only supposed to be one person in the room, which was obviously my mom there, because she was always there and she never left. And one thing I loved most was animals, and that was the one thing that they thought of to take away from me. It was supposedly help out, which turns out it did nothing at all. They figured the dander from the dogs and stuff like that would cause me to have my attacks and episodes, but that wasn't the cause. I used to ride horses when I was little, but once I thought it was animals, I wasn't allowed to do any of that. I had a puppy, which I've shown you all before, which I had to get rid of him because they was afraid it would get worse. And I was stuck in the hospital all the time and I wasn't able to care for him. He's obviously in a good home now, but that's all that matters. I also had a guinea pig and a baby kitten, which I never really mentioned much. I had to get rid of them too. We ended up getting 2 bearded dragons, and then we got another from my other brother because my pulmonologist recommended it since it wasn't a fur baby. He told me to just keep my hands super clean so it doesn't give me salmonella. And lastly, my art. I had to actually stop painting for a while because the fumes of the paint would irritate my lungs, making me worse and sometimes making me sick. I was really bummed out because that's the one thing I can be myself with. The paint just glides freely against the canvas and creates a beautiful picture of your own. Who wouldn't love that? Without art, I really don't know what I'd do. So my mom bought me fabric paint, which actually has no spell. I do now paint with my acrylics, but with the windows open so my room can air out while I paint. I've always been really creative. When I was younger, I would draw, and surprisingly I would paint. Even if my drawings were the best, they were able to be building up to become better art. And then there's me now, the present, who I am and who I always will be. I do have primary ciliary dyskinesia, and I didn't know that before. And now I have to take many different cautions that makes me more liable than others. I'm not like any normal teenager you see. I may look normal on the outside, but on the inside, I'm very different and unique in my own way.